Okay, we're here with part 3. I said I would work on some pop-ups just so we can get more of a feel for the action RPG theme. So I think I'll just get stuck in. This is going to require some kind of catch-all script that will subscribe to the take damage events and then show some kind of UI element above the target that was hit. So it will require some kind of 3D UI, not 3D UI, a world UI, I imagine. Canvas, world canvas, is this it? So instead of screen overlay, world space, and we'll put it above the player just for testing's sake. Position. We'll put some, maybe a panel. And we'll call this canvas damage pop-up. We'll get some text on there. Have I not already done this? Guess not. Damage value, just say 5. So it's down here at the moment. So where should the pop-up be? If the parent object is at the same position as the target that you want to spawn it on, then you can move only the child object, and it means you can spawn the pop-up directly on the object and it should be in a decent position almost every time. So obviously that's a bit wacky looking. Is this because of the way I'm doing this? Yeah, I think it is. This is maybe what we want. A positioner, and then we can use the positioner. There we go. Something like that. Maybe a background's a terrible idea. We can just take that off like that. Or even just have it slightly visible. None of that really matters again. That's just stylistic issue. So this, I think this will just be a basic pop-up for now. And you can do animations and things, but I'll just have it appear and then, yeah, I think maybe I'll have it appear and then slightly move up and then destroy itself. So I'm going to install DoTween as well. It's a free package that it's really handy for doing animations like that where you just want to move something. I always just click setup and then apply. I don't really go into what it does. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so then I'll create a pop-up manager maybe. Maybe I can create a managers folder for any of these sort of systems that are gonna be a catch-all manager. Maybe they can all go in here. Here we go. So the way that I think about this now, after watching some CodeMonkey tutorials, he's a really good YouTuber. I would recommend watching his videos if you're trying to learn, or if you're trying to learn something new. He says, do do the setup for this object in Awake, and then anytime you want to reference something outside of this that you want to run almost like Awake, put it in Start. So if you're subscribing to events, put that in Start. If you're doing some sort of setup for this object, put it in Awake. That just means that the object you're trying to reference should be initialized by that point. So we would go in here, grab the health object on take damage, and then simply subscribe to that event. And in here, we will instantiate a pop-up, set the damage value, and then tell it to play or whatever. So in here, we will need some kind of reference to the pop-up prefab. We can maybe have different ones: damage pop-up, healing pop-up. In a simple system, you can set up one pop-up prefab for all the different sort of types. So you can just have damage pop-up sets the circle to be green. Oh no, damage pop-up sets the circle to be red, and healing pop-up sets the circle to be green. And that's one way you can reuse the same prefab, but I'm gonna keep it separate just in case there's any stylistic change I would want to make. Maybe the healing one is round and the damage one is square or something. It's probably easier just to keep them separate at that point. Um, and I'll just create a pop-up script as well. And I think this one could be universal. So it won't mention damage, but it will mention a link to the text box. Um, Message maybe. If you do set message, string message, then do this dot message dot text. I guess that's not good naming. Set message text, and then you can just put text in there. There we go. Maybe do show pop-up. And by default, we can do the same way that we set up the bullet. We can begin the pop-up as being inactive. So the pop-up manager will take a reference to the prefab. We'll chuck it in there, and then this has the pop-up script that has a link to the message box. So when we spawn a damage pop-up, we just instantiate this, attach it to the pop-up manager, or maybe just attach it to the object actually. I guess the difference would be, do you want the damage pop-up to stay in the position where you dealt or received the damage, or do you want it to follow the player? I guess we want it to follow whichever target it hit. Okay, pop-up manager, don't need this. So I'm gonna have a function that just creates or instantiates whatever is passed in. So this will be pop-up object equals create pop-up, and then pass in the damage pop-up prefab. I don't know if we need to catch it or if we can just return it. Maybe we'll just return it. Instantiate pop-up object. For the sake of keeping the hierarchy clean, we'll call it damage pop-up. We will grab the pop-up class or component. We won't add it, we will get it. And then we will set the message text to e.delta, whatever changed. So e.delta, if we remember from the last video, is going to be the difference of the health that changed. So when we take damage, the delta should be, I guess, a negative number. So at the moment, I'm expecting it to pop up as -1 in the pop-up box. But if we don't want that, we can just multiply by -1. No, that's terrible. We would wrap it in an absolute math.abs, I think, and that just returns the number regardless of a negative sign. And then pop-up object, we want to set active to true because it will be inactive when it's first created. And then if it's active, the pop-up should do some kind of, oh yeah, show pop-up is what we want to run. Okay, so this isn't too tricky. We create the prefab, change its name, we grab the pop-up component, we set the message on the component, we set it to active so it's visible, and then we run show pop-up, and in show pop-up will be the do tween code that tells it to just begin moving up and then after some time destroy itself. So I need to try and remember the do tween code. I think it's just do move Y. There we go. End value, duration, snapping. End value. I wonder if this is local. Do local move X. Okay, so hopefully I can just put in a value of how the distance I want it to travel, rather than trying to put in an actual Y level that it should be at. So we'll go 1. We'll try 1. I've got a feeling that's going to be maybe too long. On complete, run some code. Just destroy itself. That might be it. This might be it. As always, sometimes it's worth just running the code and see how far you got. So the manager is on here. Pop-up is active. Um, oh, I haven't set the parent. So the sender is the health object, and we know the health object is connected to the game object that we are hitting. So when we create this, transform dot set parent would be parent hit. Maybe not the best wording, but it's maybe clear enough, I suppose. Sender as health, and then grab the game object of the health component. So parent hit dot transform. This could be easier. If we're not using the game object, we may as well just grab the transform initially. There we go. Parent transform. So we create the object, we attach it to the parent that was hit. Okay, let's see now. Let's see. There we go. So it looks like it's not moved position. I may need to just set the what's it called? The transform, reset the transform after moving the parent. World position stays false. Maybe that'll do it, but still, a lot of the time I just reset the transform position anyway. Okay, well that did do it. So the only problem now, which I saw coming, is the billboarding. So we need to make sure that the world canvas is always looking at the camera. Although, why is it saying 0? Oh, it's showing 0 now because we've clamped the damage. We are hitting it for 1, but we are clamping the damage to 0 and the max health. So if it's already at 0 and you're reducing it to 0, the delta will be nothing. That's not really a problem. It'll clear itself up when we stop um, dead enemies from actually receiving damage, so that's okay. Okay, let's work on a billboard script. Um, sprite billboard. So straight away, I'll attach it to the pop-up. And I think slapping it straight in update is fine. I wonder how intensive this would be if you had lots and lots and lots and lots of pop-ups. Like, we'll do it this way. I heard a while ago that I can't remember the exact phrase, but it's something like you. Basically, what they were saying was you don't want to over tune your code right from the start. You may as well just get something that works, and then once it works, then you try and figure out better ways of speeding up the code. Uh, I don't think that's 100% the case. Sometimes you do want to go into a project knowing this is going to be a bottleneck for the code, and we should figure out a problem from the start. We should figure out a solution to the problem from the start. But in this case, it's fine. So I think just a simple transform look at, and then maybe just grab the main camera. Okay, so private camera, cam, even in start, we'll grab the camera. I don't know if you still need to do this. I think I read that using camera.main is actually fine, but we'll just grab it anyway. So I'll see how this turns out. Sometimes the object that's billboarding looks backwards. We'll see if we need to sort that. Yeah, okay, there we go. So it's around the wrong way, but it is facing the camera, so that's good. I think this is just a rotation. You maybe just need to look at camera transform. Can I just alter this directly like that? No. Hmm. that work, or is that becoming a bit too much to be throwing in an update? It seems to work. Um, so I wonder if there's something I can do with the Z-axis. Which pop-up decides to be shown in front? I maybe don't need to care right now. But maybe all I need to do... no, actually, I can't just change the Z-axis because it's a world position canvas. To be order and layer. Huh. So what I'm thinking is you would just add a canvas accessor in the pop-up, and then when you create a pop-up, you would set that in the pop-up manager. You would change the order in the layer somewhere in here based on how many pop-ups existed, maybe. Mm, let's just build that just for the sake of it. Okay, so pop-up. Oh, I didn't actually ask Grok what the pop-up should look like. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm making a random RPG. I want you to decide every aspect of it. I want to... how should damage healing pop-ups be in the game? What should they look like? How should they act? Can be as random as you want. Can be good or bad, serious or funny. Yes, okay. Thankfully all that pop-up code isn't wasted. Cartoonish hand-drawn graffiti tags, for fuck's sake. Um, street artist. Bright red, jagged spray paint numbers with little splatters around them. For big hits, they get a neon orange. So we're adding crits to the game. And a tiny animated skull that winks at the player. Grok! Okay, well, I'll write it down, but we don't know if we'll have crits, I suppose. That's up to the Grok later. Gameplay mechanics. What did I miss? Ideas. Surely there's a pop-up thing here. Pop-up? No, no pop-up. I guess it's UI. But what is this? Healing pop-ups. Neon green bubble letters with a dripping effect. Like wet paint. For big heels, they sprout little cartoon hearts. Okay, bold, messy. Okay, so they need to be bold, messy text, and the background is jagged spray paint. Oh no, it's jagged spray paint numbers, little splatters around them. Okay, give me a second. I'll go and try and find fonts that look something like this. Back in a minute. Okay, here's what I found. This is free for commercial use if I ever wanted to sell this fucking jumbled up mess of a game. Um, Hulk's Vandal seems like spray paint A type, you know, and then what was it again? This one, Street Toxic for the healing one since it's dripping. Also free for commercial use. Okay, I've got the fonts here. I'm just gonna create uh, TextMesh Pro font asset. Is that what it is? SDF. I think that's what I usually do. So now we can use these with our pop-up. Just bring it back. Damage value. So this is a damage pop-up so that hey. So Street Toxic doesn't have numbers. That's devastating. Ah, well, the Street Toxic was the healing one anyway, so I can worry about that after. There's our lovely pop-up. What else did it say? Oh, what should they look like? Let's actually copy this so I don't forget. Must be planned early. Well, you don't know me. Let's just do it as it comes. Jagged spray paint numbers. Okay, so we don't have a background. The number is red. Maybe we can just... Oh, maybe we should change the font size randomly. That would be really horrible, but probably cool. So the pop-up, um, uh, public void randomize font size. So 0.5 is the current one. Should probably have some parameters. I think it's a float, yeah. Private float, font size minimum. There you go, 0.35, and then private float, font size max equals 0.75 maybe? Or maybe we just go 1, make it real crazy. So when we randomize this, it will be random.range. I think that's it. So when we show pop-up or set the message, that's when we'll randomize the font size. And then we need to make that inactive again. No, it's not bad. I do dislike the negative sign when we're passing through the damage value, so I will just absolute that. Um, String damage value is going to be math abs, yeah, e dot delta, and then we're going to toString that, and we'll just pass in the damage value. So what this does is, if the delta is 1, absolute will return 1. If the delta is -1, absolute will return 1. And yeah, same for any number. If it's positive or negative, doesn't matter, it will just return the positive looking number. There we go. Looking fantastic. So that's the pop-up system for now. What's next? I'm still on the battle system, I suppose. I should get the melee weapons working. Even though I'm really not sure how to do it. I probably should have read up on melee combat. Maybe we'll figure something out. If this just comes forward and then I create a little box where the damage would happen. I can maybe even just put the animation on the back burner for later and just have a little box in front of him that when you click it spawns and deals damage. I also need to work on heavy attacks, so the code will change from weapons being a simple click. When we get to it, I imagine it will be when you press down the button, we track that. We track that the button has gone down. When the button is down, we will start counting in the update. How long has this button been held down? And then when the button is released, we will say, was the button held down for long enough to constitute calling it a held button click? Because if it is a held button, that's when we do the heavy attack. If it's a really quick up and or a really quick down and up, then it's just the regular attack. But yeah, well, maybe I should just do that now since I've spoke about it. Okay, let's just do that now. So in weapon, uh, yeah, funny that I've got this here. I would imagine weapon should handle whether something was a click or a press, a click or a hold. No, I guess this is right because I want to distinguish between left and right clicks. That could be changed though, that could be changed. Okay, let's just do it here. So in the update function, input dot get mouse button down 0. we will create some flags here. Private bool is left down. And then if input dot get mouse button up is left down equals false. And then same thing for the right is right down. And then change the button to 1. And then we'll just track how long each of them has been held for. Left hold time, and then private float right hold time. So if is left down is true, left hold time plus equals time delta time. And then same thing for the left, for the right is right down, right hold time plus equals delta time. So when you click down, this is true, and this will begin counting up. And then when you let go, we will see if it's been long enough. So what is the hold threshold? So this is how long something needs to be held down before it should count as a hold or a click. If left hold time is greater or equal to hold threshold, button held, else button click. Probably make a protected abstract of on button hold and protected abstract on button click. And we'll pass in the button. On button hold is 0 because we're passing in the left click. On button click 0 because the left was clicked. So we just do the same thing here. There's a lot of repeated code here. In essence, I wonder if there's a smarter way. Yeah, I think there is a much better way. Button operation. This is maybe not good wording. So here we will do oh, I don't know about this actually. What I wanted to do is extract this code and just pass in the button that we're worried about, but it's the little variables. We can turn those. It'll be less readable, but it'll be better code, so I don't know if it's worth doing. If we changed these into an array where 0 is bool array Yeah, bool 0 would be the left, is the left down, and bool 1 would be is the right down. I think it's cleaner. No, it's smarter code, but yeah, I think it gets rid of a lot of the readability of understanding what's happening. So I think I'll keep it the way it is, even though it's a little verbose. So let's just copy this. No, we're just copying this, popping it in here. Make sure I update the correct variables and look for the right button. So yeah, these now can be overwritten or overridden by the range weapon and the melee weapon, and we'll say if this is the button I'm interested in, do something. If it's not, just ignore it. So range weapon, I would expect this to scream at me. Maybe not because it's abstract. Okay. Override on button click, on button hold. So now I don't think we're interested in this. On button click. We don't need to track this because we know that the button has been clicked. Handle attack, which let's rename that to handle light attack, and then we can do handle heavy attack. Again, let's just see. Okay. I've yet to update this. Override button click. Override button hold. And this is just where we're going to have this. Oh, I just caught what would have been a problem. If button does not equal 0, return. Because we're only interested in left clicks. So same thing for this. And same thing for the ranged weapon. We will say if that is not 1, because the right click is what we're interested in here. So we don't need that. And let's just see. Let's just see. So just tapping the button works like usual, but then holding it and then letting go. Heavy attack. Nice. But the left click isn't doing anything. So let's figure out why. Melee weapon. It's probably something I've done wrong in here. Well, I guess let's start at the top. So melee weapon on click, if the button does not equal to 0, heavy attack, melee weapon. Let's see if something is getting triggered here. Oh, okay. Suddenly working, even though I don't think I really changed anything. So clicks and holds are working. Uh, okay, so I'll remove those again and just check again. If I left click, melee weapon light attack. If I left hold, melee weapon heavy attack. If I right click, yep, and then if I right hold, okay, great. So jolt pipe blaster, let's see. Shockwave burst. I probably want to wait. I probably don't want to implement this right now because the way I see this working is it just comes out from the tip of the gun around the player, maybe with a knockback effect, and it'll deal some damage to the enemies. But it's not going to be interesting unless I have enemies that are trying to get close to you or have some kind of enemy functionality working. So it's fine for now. We'll come back. Um, Two weapons change each time. So in order to test that, we're gonna have to, well, in order to build that, we're gonna have to have multiple weapons. Signal surges. Yeah, this project's gonna be quite big, I imagine. Junk toss is gonna be interesting. Right, I'll maybe try and get the melee working, and then I'll start asking some questions on how the enemy should look and work. So let's try something to get the melee working. So ranged is fairly easy. It shoots out a ball and it does damage. Melee weapon is going to create a box in front of it. Maybe I should build it just like the bullet. So when you click, it spawns a little box in front that very quickly appears and then disappears. If something is in the area, it takes damage. Um, and maybe specifically one character. Maybe AoE can be a thing. So if you use the Buzzsaw Knifer, it's only going to hit one target in the box in front of you, but a different melee weapon that's maybe a bigger, beefier weapon, if you use that, it will hit them all. We should try and think of knockback. I don't think that's maybe another thing that's probably going to have to be added after the enemy does something. The enemy... Just a box collider. I wonder if this should be a rigid body. Let's ask. Let's just ask. I completely missed this part. 5% of the time, the pop-up doesn't show a number, it shows a sassy comment instead. Jolt Pipe says hi. Okay, okay. Fuck the melee weapon, this needs to be built right now. Oh my god, I missed all of this. So they burst out of the heal hit point with a slight bounce. Oh god. Tilt slightly left. Let's see. That's all to do with this, I'm pretty sure. Can I just pass in an easing type? That's probably not right. What do you want from me? Set ease. Uh, they zigzag chaotically like a drunk firefly before rocketing upward. Oh my god. Okay, so there'll need to be maybe three and number of zigs, and then for list of... Always the wrong one now. Never used to do that. A list of vector 3, vector 2s. What do you want? A float. Oh, it's because I've got move Y. If it's transform dot do local move, then I can pass in a vector 3. Okay, so movements equals new vector 3, and we will start with transform dot position. And then for each of the zigzags, we have to add in another vector 3 that's in some direction. New vector 3. What am I even trying to do here? Hmm. Right, it's just take the point before. So we're gonna start at 1. We're gonna end 1 higher. We're gonna just take movements I minus 1 dot x dot y dot z. So this just fills this with whatever the last one was, and then we can add to it plus random dot range, and this is going to be, okay, it's getting too cluttered in here. What we want to do is take float x equals this, float y equals that, and then float z equals that. Then we mess around with them. X difference is going to be random dot range of x minus 1 to x plus 1. And I think we're going to just do the same thing for all of them. So the random range, no, we don't need that now. It's going to be x plus x diff, y plus y diff. Hopefully this works the way it looks in my head. So we'll do local move from movements 0. Duration is going to be 0.25, because I think that means it's 1 second then, if it does the start 1 plus 3. I think I may be wrong, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter. And then dot done, I think means do something else, right? No? Oh, I'll just do on complete again. On complete. On complete, we run transform dot do local move. And then on complete, there must be a better way of chaining these. I don't need this anymore, so I can maybe just look for a better one. This needs stored somewhere. Oh my god, it's so much text though. And this needs done as well. Never mind. No, don't show me how to do it. Get out of here. Grok. What was I going to do? How do I chain do tween? That doesn't matter. Just tweening. Oh sequence. Yeah. I forgot all about sequence. Okay. You know what? Maybe I don't even need to do the wacky shit I was doing if I just set the ease properly. It's fucking telling me what to do again. Grok. Okay. This is annoying. But I guess if that's just what I'm going to be building anyway, then I may as well just fucking rip it. Grok. I kind of want to see if my thing would work out though. So let's just try. Sequence equals new sequence. Oh, it's new do tween sequence. Okay, and then just append. Okay, so sequence dot append a tween. So with this is just the way I would write it. Okay, do local movements. Uh, okay, but I can just loop this now. In movements dot count. Add that, and then just slap in the I there. And then at the end of the sequence, we do transform, destroy game object. No, I'm not liking that. It's not a tween, is it? It's not a tween. Append callback. Okay, okay. Okay, good to know, good to know. Transform, destroy game object. And if this is absolute garbage and doesn't look anything at all like what I thought it would, then I'll just copy what Grok has done. It's a bit less fun, but well. Show pop-up. Oh, I've not. Do I need to run the? How do you run the sequence? So I don't need to actually call it or anything. Oh yeah, it did say it wants it to rocket upwards at the end. So I would have just done transform dot do local move X and just do like 5 distance and a duration of 0.5, so it's really quick. Let's just see what happens then. Hopefully it calls. Where the fuck are you going? Oh, it seems to be locking me into heavy attacks. weapon. Oh, have I been silly? When I release, I should be resetting the whole time. So, at the end of this, right hold time equals 0 again, and same with left hold time. Hopefully that fixes a problem, and it's not something else. But also, these fucking wacky pop-ups, maybe one is too much. 0.25. Thankfully, it looks like it's doing something though. Doing something close to what I thought. Just too big a jump. Just keeps going away. That's not random. It must be my code fucking up somewhere, because that's not random. It's always moving that way. Um, is the logic not right? They should be saying take the position of the last spot, but then add 0.25 down or up randomly. Well, not add, take any one between that. Huh. And instead it just keeps moving. Hold on, this is the position of the pop-up. This, yeah, that's fine, because when it spawns, it is given a position, and then it should be building on top of that. Huh. Let's catch this, and then spit out what it is. Just to see. If it's always the same thing, that's not very random. And that means it's, well, I'm pretty sure the problem is the logic somewhere. I just need to figure out where. No, that looks fine. Um, it always grows the same way. Ah, okay. They should all be that. Oh, okay, that's the problem. They should all be grabbing 0. They should all start with 0 and then do some wacky shit. We're back in. Let's go. What? Why? Why does it keep going the same direction every time? That's weird. Maybe it's because it's moving locally, right? So, okay. So this isn't a local position, but we're acting like it is. So maybe just do move and then go pyong. Is that the logic I was missing? I was treating it like a regular position. That's not random either. What is going on? What is um what is the original position actually? Maybe that would shine some light. 0 and 539. Ah, okay. I think that would be it. What an idiot. Where this isn't really a difference. This includes x. So yeah, I guess if we want to use difference, we just say minus and plus. That that took far too long to figure out. Okay. So this is the difference is just going to be plus minus a little bit and then that. Because what we were doing was we were adding the x, y, and z as well as the little bit extra and then adding x, y, and z again. So that's why we had the crazy jump in the z. Okay, let's see if this does it. If not, I may need to switch a couple of small things again, but let's see. Yeah, that's closer. Just needs to be bigger jumps and shorter time. This is going to be so unreadable. There you go. That's what you wanted, Grok. You've got your zigzagging fucking numbers. Okay, job well done. So next is sometimes it doesn't have a value. Sometimes it just says a message instead. So let's have serialize. Oh, we don't do this on pop-up. We do this in pop-up manager. We'll come up with a list of strings. Damage. Messages. I don't know. There's got to be a better. Um, what's that word again that means to swap out for? This is fine for now, I suppose. Maybe damage swap messages. And then just have some kind of setup. Damage swap message percentage equals 5%. And then when we're taking damage, set message text. We're just going to make this a bit cleaner. Pop up message text. So pass in the pop-up, pass in the damage value, but now we need to calculate 5%. So we'll say int swap role equals random.range 0 to 100. I guess we don't need that if we're not doing anything visible with it. Swap role is greater than damage swap percentage. It's if it's less than, right? Swap the damage text with a spicy message. Else, just add the damage. So spicy message index equals random.range from nothing to damage swap messages.count. Popup.setMessageText, and we're just going to do damage swap messages and then the spicy message index. And I think that would work. Oh, set damage pop-up message text, and we pass in the pop-up and pass in the damage value. Pop-up manager, let's add some messages. Oof, that's got a sting. Jolt pipe says hi. I'll just add a fuck yeah. Okay, there we go. That's fine. For the sake of testing, I guess I can just spam for ages. But first of all, I will make it a very high number, so there's more chance of it actually happening. And then afterwards, I'll put it down to 5 again, and then spam the button just to see. So, oh my god. Probably the text that's the problem, the text box size. Okay, let's try again. Yeah. For the text is bad. I want to be able to read these messages. This may be too fast. Let's slow it down again. Jolt Pipe says hi. Oof. One. Jolt Pipe says hi. I can't read it. But there we go. It's done. I'm not doing sound yet. I'll maybe add sound at the very end. Unless it's absolutely essential to the game that it gets added beforehand. So bright red, jagged spray paint numbers with little splatters around them. Yeah, you know what, just for effect. Maybe a couple of images. Splodge. Yeah, really? They've all got lines around them. Yeah, that works. I was going to do just a red splodge, but this kind of looks better. Oh, this is going to be visible now. Inactive. Alright, let's see. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then get it back down to a normal number again. 5%. Give me the words. Give me the words. Yeah. Give me the words. I crave the word. Yeah. One more. One more. Yeah. Okay. Ah. Progress. Sweet progress. Okay, back to the melee weapon, I think. Did I forget anything else? This is fine. This is fine. Yep, that's fine. Melee weapon. So maybe hitbox. Maybe we'll just flick it on and off real quick. Is this some kind of... I guess the bullet has a separate piece of code attached to it and everything. Um, Box collider. Maybe that's fine. Um, What's saw knife or... Where did I put the bullet script and things? Maybe in common? Yeah. The only thing is, melee weapons can work very differently. Maybe the hitbox wouldn't though. Maybe the hitbox just wants to flash up, trigger, and then disappear. We'll just go with it and we'll see what happens. Common, melee, hitbox. So it's going to be something that says to trigger the hit. Game set active true. Check for collisions. Uh, hmm. Maybe there's a boolean that says is active. This should probably be on the weapon though. Okay, okay, let's do that thing that we were gonna do before. Private list of health. So different lists, different healths on objects that enter this trigger. On trigger enter, on trigger exit. We're going to try and get this working. So when something enters, we're going to just debug what the other one is. Hitbox, melee hitbox. So essentially, when I move around, this should just trigger when something enters it. Nope. Enemy does have a collider. Check the trigger, yep. Ah, okay, okay. Um, should enemies in my game have a rigid body or just a collider? Collider only when they don't use physics. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, so they need a rigid body since we will be having knockback effects and things. Okay, stop, stop trying to craft everything around this. Okay, so we'll give the enemy a rigid body. I just wonder if the collider needs to be on the enemy now. Um, Give me knowledge. It doesn't technically require it, but they're almost always paired depending on what you're trying to achieve. Okay, well, shit. Looks like we're gonna have to change some of the code. I'm still gonna keep the visual. Yeah, still want the visual on a separate object, but having the box collider here looks like it's required. Or not technically required, but it's basically telling me to do that. Let's see. I'm expecting the gun not to work. I'll probably need to change how it gets the target. Okay. Huh. I wonder if get component on parent also checks the current component. I believe the get component on children does check the current object and then the children. So I don't know if this does. Ugh, it doesn't matter anyway. Okay. So now let's see if the trigger works. Interesting. Enemy because we've moved into it, and enemy because we moved out of it. Unable. Okay. So this is working now because the rigid body. Um, so if health list, I guess we want to grab the health. Health equals other dot game object dot get component health. If health equals null, return early, we don't care about it. But if health isn't null, we will check if the health list contains health. Uh, if health list contains health, return. It's already in. I don't know how it triggered twice, but it's already in. Otherwise, add health to the list. So similar thing here. Health equals other, game object, get component, health. If health equals null, return. If health list doesn't contain health this time, return, because there's nothing to do. I don't know how it's leaving if it was never added. Otherwise, remove health. So now, melee weapon on a light attack. What do we do again? On attack, range weapon, handle light attack, triggers on attack. So let's change this. On light attack. And then we'll do something similar for on heavy attack. Maybe there'll be different cooldowns for light and heavy. Grok. Um, if it just says yeah because I've asked it, then that's enough. Look, every time. It's giving me more shit to deal with. Okay. So this might look a bit like 13, where you see the ratatatatata um, words popping up on the screen. Okay. Weapons. JP Blaster. Here's some stuff. Um, so this is going to be light cooldown. And again, I'm renaming it so that it updates everywhere. Heavy cooldown. I think both should. Um, light should only trigger the light cooldown, but it should add to the heavy cooldown the light amount. So you can't just immediately spam heavy and then rattle off light within the same second. Copy that. Right. Oh, heavy cooldown countdown. Trigger light cooldown, and then there'll also be trigger heavy cooldown. I think heavy cooldown countdown should equal light cooldown as well. And then when you trigger the heavy one, heavy cooldown countdown should equal heavy cooldown, and light cooldown should probably equal light cooldown countdown. Countdown? Countdown? Ah, countdown. Okay, so if you shoot with the left, or if you use the left, you can't immediately spam the heavy. If you use the heavy, you can't immediately spam the light. Okay. Light is on cooldown, and there should also be public bool. Heavy is on cooldown. This is maybe too much. Maybe too much. See now, handle light cooldown and handle heavy cooldown. Turn. Heavy cooldown countdown equals mathf.clamp. Heavy cooldown countdown minus time, fixed delta time. I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous video, but if you're using fixed update, you want to use fixed delta time and not just delta time. Because fixed delta time will give you the sort of frame locked time between the frames, whereas delta time will give you the actual time between frames. So yeah, fixed update will run at whatever you've locked your game at. That's maybe not true. Yeah, it's the fixed frame rate. So if you set it to be 30 or if you set it to be 60, this fixed update. You know what? That doesn't sound right actually, because update should probably only run if you've locked it at 30 or 60. So yeah, maybe if you have locked it, update and fixed update will run at the same. And if you haven't locked it, fixed update will try and run at 60 and update will just run at whatever. Maybe that's what it is. I should probably look into that more. Okay, so what are we doing? So we don't really care about cooldowns here, but we will care about it in here. Handle light attack is the handle heavy attack. So if heavy is on cooldown, return. Heavy attack. Trigger heavy cooldown, and then on heavy attack. Okay, good stuff. What about melee weapon? This is basically nothing. Okay. So let's copy this so I don't forget to do any of the steps. Okay, so what we do is, what was it called? Handle light attack. And then a handle heavy. Just bang that in there. Bang that in there. Is there anything else I've done in here? No. Just check if it's valid and then run. Check if it's valid and then run. Light, if the light is on cooldown, return. Probably don't need all these comments now. Trigger light cooldown and then on light attack. So this is, if this is the same, this can probably be abstracted down to weapon. Um, Handle. Can this be? I don't think any of this changes either, other than me wanting to put in different comments. But it looks like it does the same thing. Trigger the cooldown, use the attack. So I'm going to take this out as well and put it in weapon. Protected, protected. Protected is basically private, but it allows the subclass to use it. So in here, it can still see handle light, handle heavy. If I swap this to private, it will no longer be able to access handle light, but it can still get the protected one. So that's why you do that. I can get rid of this, get rid of that. See, there's nothing left or right click specific in here, so it doesn't matter. And it really tidies up the subclasses when you get all that out of here. We don't need to worry about copying code. We don't need to worry about mistakenly forgetting something in the code. Handle heavy attack. And see, this is specific. I'm sure there's a way we can maybe have in here what button we're looking for, etc. But for now, we do worry about this changing, so we need to keep that separate. But this melee weapon class looks so much tidier, getting all that out. Weapon, okay. And then, as always, just double check that things are still working. What's missing? On heavy attack, does not implement, okay. On light attack. Okay, that's fine. And that's fine. So Bing still does its thing. And the holds are still just doing nothing, which is fine. I should take all these comments out. Okay, so all of that was essentially just so that I can get back to the melee weapon. So in here we are spawning a bullet. So what do we want to do? We want to see if there's anything inside our hitbox. So the melee weapon will have a reference to the hitbox. Melee hitbox. Mm, what's okay. I'm just adding some helper functions so I can very quickly see if it's empty or um, even grab the first one or grab the first number. So here there'll be some public bool is empty. Return health list dot count equals 0. Get first X. So we're just gonna grab the first three. I think there's probably a good way of doing this. Get range. I don't think I've used this before, but that sounds exactly what we're looking for. So we start at 0 and we grab the first X. Cool. So I assume I can just use this now. If it's a weapon like the knife that we just want to do, hit the first person that we see, get the first X, and then just put in 1. And that will start at 0 and we'll just take 1 from the list. Is empty. So yeah, this could be protected because it's only the weapon that's going to use it. But this has to be public because it's a different class that will be using it. Protected list of health. I just do the same thing, get first X and number, and we will simply return the melee hitbox, get first X with the number. Again, as usual, this doesn't always have to, they might not always work the way you think it does. You just try something out, check it out, test the game. If it works, great. If not, then you'll think of a different way of doing it. So on light attack, we will quickly check. Do we just want to check immediately if something's within there? That gives you zero, uh, zero leniency with time. Yeah, we'll do it this way. If okay, so this doesn't make as much sense as I thought it did. If are there targets? Maybe something like that. Do targets exist? Again, maybe not the best, but we're going to return the opposite of that. So if it's not empty, do targets exist will be true. This seems a bit flippy. I don't know if we want that. Is target list empty? That means we can keep it just like that. Is target list empty? So is target list empty? Return. So if the list is empty, we return. Otherwise, we will grab a number of these healths equal to get first X targets is probably the better way of saying it. Get first X targets. Melee weapon should be serialized field private int number of targets to hit. And the buzzsaw knifer will protected. Number of targets to hit equals 1. I wonder if that's how I did it in this. I just initialized some things here and then changed it in the inspector. Okay, so we probably don't need me to do that. Number of targets to hit, I'll just change it in the inspector again. So in here we just pass in how many targets we want to hit. And I'm assuming that the way this is set up to use the hitbox get range, if this number is too high, I'm assuming it would just return what it can and not throw an error. So it would be in my best interest to add a really high number of targets just to see if it throws an error. So here's the health list. And then we don't need to set movement directions or motions. I think we can just apply the damage straight to it. So for each item in the health list, health dot take damage, and then damage. Now this seems like quite a lazy slash bad way of doing it. In many action RPGs, it does just look like you play an animation and then hit something randomly in front of you. So it's less of an action RPG like Dark Souls, things like that, and it's more like Diablo A, hack and slash A type games. I think in the future it would be a better game if I actually have the dagger animating and the first thing the dagger's hitbox hits, that's what takes the damage. But for now, this is probably going to be fine if it works. As always, we can make things better. You get something working and you make it better later. Okay, getting a lot of errors. Let's find out what the error is first, but I also didn't add a number of targets. Oh, the melee hitbox that I'll just jump in right now and assume that's the problem. Light cooldown should, let's make it 1, 3, 2 damage, just so that melee's actually doing something different. Another one. Health list hasn't been initialized. So again, you can initialize it here, or you can initialize it in some kind of like awake function. So I'm clicking and not getting errors now. Let's see what happens. Oh, damage is being dealt every 1 second because I'm spamming the click button. Alright, we're getting somewhere. It's not the most glamorous, but it's working. So nothing happens there. How... Let's see. I want to see the hitbox, okay. I guess I guess it's working. Okay. Uh, so that's quick slashes. Quick slashes should probably be a little bit faster than 1 second then. Did it already tell me? That's the Jolt Pipe Blaster, 0.3 and 2.5. Fuck's sake. 0. What? No cooldown? Okay. 0.3, 2.5, I think it said. Okay. And the knife. How quickly should the Buzzsaw Knifer attack? Light and heavy cooldowns, please. It's gonna give me a fucking backstory to the weapon now and that I'll need to implement. You know what, I need to maybe tell it that it's not a fucking graffiti tagged world. It might be, but it's a cosmic junkyard. See, faster than the jolt. Okay, it's faster than the heavy blasts, but slower than. Okay. Okay, it even explains why it decided that. So now it wants pop-ups. Okay, it wanted that before. Okay, okay, we're gonna have to do that as well. Light attack 0.4 and then 1.8 for the heavy. 0.4, 1.8. So this really is a fast-paced game. Ping, ping, ping. There's the slightly slower shot now that I've actually added a cooldown. And here is the quick slices. So when I slash, it needs to be making like little pop-ups next to the weapon. And when I shoot, it needs to be coming up with bang, whiz, and wee. So that's the damage pop-up. Let's just copy it, call it weapon flavor pop-up. I think essentially it's going to be the same thing. Maybe uh, just text value. Maybe this one can have an outline to it. Let's go fonts. I think it's the Hoax Vandal one. Copy that, paste that, call it outline, and then we can screw around with that. Let's see. Outline, there we go. Underlay. That's much better. And then zap. Let's maybe make it a bit smaller. Although, I guess I'm gonna have to do the same thing with this, where the font size keeps changing. Make it more dynamic. Weapon flavor pop-up. Let's go into the pop-up manager and just essentially do the same thing. Weapon flavor pop-up, and then let's make weapon flavor messages. Bugger. This is going to be different for each weapon. So I might just take a very long drawn written out approach to this instead of coming up with a smarter way of doing it. So this is going to be jolt pipe, blaster, flavor messages. I would probably want to keep this separated though. Weapon flavor, pop up prefabs, and then something else. Buzz saw knifer. There's the pop-up. What were some of the recommendations? Light attack chaos. Every 7th attack, 30% chance to double strike. Spawning a buzz pop-up. It's a random game, not random in content. Oh my god. If the heavy attack kills an enemy, the cooldown drops to 0.9 seconds for the next swing. For fuck's sake. These sound like upgrades, so I would like to take those and save it as upgrades. Buzzsaw, Knifer, upgrades. Okay, pew pew. Okay. Oh, it's a pew pew sound. Okay, I thought if it came up pew 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 when you were shooting, that'd be fucking hilarious. Okay, zap, pow, biz. Buzzsaw Knifer is gonna be like swish and swoosh and shit. Ugh. Um, okay, we didn't write down anything. Which words should pop up when using the melee weapon Buzzsaw Knifer? Come on. Come on, you. If you take too long, I'm just going to come up with some. What the fuck? Now it's telling me more. Rare words. Rare flavor. Fuck's sake. Okay, 70% chance. $30. So, when a weapon is used, we're gonna trigger the type of weapon. I was thinking I could maybe do a catch-all within melee weapon, but I'm expecting to use type of, and then something like that. But I don't know if I do get type, it'll maybe just return melee weapon instead of buzzsaw knifer. So maybe I just stick it in here. Um, we'll try the first way though, because I would prefer if this works. Public stack event handler. We just create another event on melee swing, and maybe also an on melee hit. And I can maybe trigger the message to pop up on the point where the collider hit the enemy. Um, so we need event args, melee, event args. There's probably going to be a string for the type. Uh, Maybe a vector3 for collision point. I don't think I need anything more than that. So just make sure I actually add it. Melee event args. Right, so on melee swing, that would probably be in here somewhere. Uh, on Yeah, that's on melee light. Oh, I'm gonna need to separate light and heavy. On light swing, on light attack, and then on light hit. What's the problem? Oh, okay, that's a function already. Um, okay, light attack, heavy attack. It's that's fine. So then that's on light. I like to name it like that. So on something. So the trigger happens on a light attack, on a light hit. On heavy attack. I guess this could be wrapped up a bit neater. I could just do on attack and on hit. And then in here, public enum attack type, and do light and heavy. And then you can just have public attack type. Maybe you can't have it named like that. Yeah. Did I have capitals on the other one? I can't remember where the other event was. Health? No, I didn't. Okay. So that's fine then. On attack, on hit. I don't think I can trigger an event from here if I do on attack, invoke. I think it's gonna complain. Except when used from within melee weapon. So you maybe have a protected void. Trigger on attack. Trigger on hit. And then I could just call this function weapon type. So this is all just a test to see if it's going to work or not. So weapon type is going to be type of, no, it would be this dot get type. I think that's dot toString. I just want to test this first of all. I can bother about the rest of it after. So buzzsaw knife on. Why does that still say on? So light attack. If the target list is empty, okay. So before that, we will trigger on attack, and then afterwards we'll trigger on hit. If there's multiple targets, would we have all of them playing sounds or? Yeah, maybe. So after something takes damage, trigger on hit. So if I do a light attack, it should trigger an attack and then tell me the weapon type. So if the pop-up manager now grabs that, so melee weapon dot on attack, I should be able to see what it's returning here. E dot weapon type. All I want to do is see what that spits out. like I say, I've got a feeling it's gonna just say melee weapon, but ideally it will show you the actual weapon name. Oh shit, that's amazing. So it does tell you the actual name. Okay, that's really good news. So what else do we need? Weapon type. Collision point would just be the weapon itself, I think. Transform dot position. Attack type equals light. So now pop-up manager. This is where it becomes probably badly written out, but it'll do the job for now. If we start making tons and tons and tons of weapons and this gets too long, I'll try and come up with a better way of doing it. So if E weapon type is equal to the type of buzzsaw knifer dot toString, then we know that the buzzsaw knifer was swung. So then we're going to create a pop-up. Pop-up object equals create pop-up weapon flavor pop-up prefab. Parent transform. This is going to be the sender. Yeah, probably be the sender. Sender as game object. Nope. Sender as melee weapon dot transform. Pop-up object dot transform dot set parent equal to parent transform, and we do not want to keep the world position. Equals weapon flavor pop-up. We're basically copying the setup here, and the text will be something out of this here. Set pop-up flavor text. So we're going to pass in a pop-up, and we're going to pass in a list of strings. So normally with this weapon, it will be set pop-up flavor text. We need to grab the pop-up itself. Pop-up object dot get component pop-up. Okay, set the flavor text pop-up, and yeah, normally we'll use the flavor messages. And then it's pop-up object dot set active to true. Pop-up dot show pop-up. This is gonna be wacky like the rest of them. I can't remember if it wanted this to be damage only. Did it say damage only? Damage pop-ups. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say only damage. It just says they all zigzag chaotically for about 0.5 seconds. What the fuck, man? 1 in 10 pop-ups do a little twirl. Maybe I'll get round to that. Maybe. We've got so much more to do. I maybe shouldn't be spending fucking 3 weeks working on pop-ups. Where were we? Pop-up manager. So show pop-up. Okay, so this is normal in normal circumstances, but the game wants um, rare pop-ups equals random dot range 0 to 100. If rare pop-up is less than rare percentage, then we are setting the pop-up flavor text with the rare messages instead. Okay, um, let's put some messages in. Or did I already do that and I've forgotten? Okay, knife, swish, whoosh, bzz, and then the rare ones are rare word, bizzed and poke. So if we see bizzed or poke, it's rare. It's a rare message. Okay, this needs to be more around the weapon. So in a similar way that we have a bullet spawn point, I think we need a pop-up spawn point. And I think both will need that. So and the weapon will probably have a way of tracking that. Protected, transform, pop-up spawn point. So the collision point is going to be the pop-up spawn point for just random messages. And these should maybe follow. Uh, I have set them the parent, so oh, I didn't set the object pop-up spawn point. Right. Oh, I also didn't move it. Pop-up spawn point is there, and this is going to be over here somewhere. Swish and flick. Jolt pipe blaster will have the same thing. there, that's fine. It still seems to spawn in the middle. I don't think I'm actually setting the collision. I'm not using the collision point. That's the problem. This doesn't need to worry about the position, whereas this one does. Pop-up object dot transform dot position equals e dot collision point. There we go. What else have I not used from here? Oh, attack type. Shit. I'm also not setting the text. Set message text. Okay, so string flavor text is equal to get 0 to flavor list dot count. This is all bog standard stuff. There we go. Flavor text. Okay, so private void. This feels wrong. Buzzsaw knifer light. Okay, that's definitely too lazy. Definitely too lazy. We will have. Well, we know it's the buzzsaw knife. Transform sender. We'll do transform as the sender. So if e dot attack type is equal to light, we are doing a light attack. We will trigger the buzzsaw knife for light, and we will pass in the sender as melee weapon. Transform. Okay. Parent transform. Get rid of this, and it should work. So yeah, this is not great. But then if we have a billion different words and messages and different flavor text, you know what? This doesn't need to be on the pop-up manager. This is kind of silly. Um, the weapon itself can hold this, and that way we don't really need to care about all this. The type of weapon that's coming through doesn't matter. So let's try and refactor that, since that sounds like a much better idea. So every weapon will have flavor text. List of strings. And then also, let's just also add in rare flavor text for everything. And then a percentage rare flavor percentage chance. So when you attack with the weapon, We don't need to know the weapon type. We don't need to know the attack type. We just need to know where it happened and what the message you want to display is. Public string flavor message, flavor text. Okay, so now that I've changed this, I just need to go stamping out the fires of the things that are now broken. So attack type, weapon type, get them out. Flavor text equals, well, that's where this is going to come in. Random index. Okay, now we need to do the rare chance as well. So this and this. Rare flavor chance equals, this is going to be the Unity one again. 0 to 100. Rare flavor chance is less than rare flavor. Oh. Rare flavor roll. If it's less than that, then we are dealing with the funky words. String flavor text equals that. Flavor text equals, right. So this is where the random index goes. Okay, because here's an example of why having good names is really useful. Rare flavor text, that sounds like a string. So if I go back to the weapon, flavor text, this should be flavor text list. Rare flavor text list. Make it very obvious what you're working with. It makes your code much more readable. Don't be lazy like I did there. Back here, see, rare flavor text list. And then you can set flavor text equal to flavor text list and then the random index. Otherwise, we're working with the regular list. Random index equals Unity engine dot random dot range flavor text list dot count. Flavor text equals flavor text list random index. And also, if you caught it, this is using the regular list and not the rare flavor. Okay, flavor text equals flavor text. So now we don't need to do any of those calculations within the pop-up manager. We don't care about all these different things here. It's not needed. I will take a note of the words before I change. Zap pow biz biz poke, okay. Bized poke. It's not going to show up with all these errors. Okay, this can all fuck off. Fuck off. Oh, probably want some of this. Shift. Sender as melee weapon. Dot transform. Set pop-up flavor text. Nope, nope, nope. Pop-up dot set message text is going to be so much simpler now. Flavor text, because we already did the calculations. So there we go. That's an insanely better way of doing this. Okay, I don't think there's errors now, so I can come in and change the words. I think this one was Zapobs, and we didn't have rare for this. Just fucking crack. Take some crack. Wish. Wish? What the fuck? Is that a thing? Am I just making that word up? Swish. Is it swish and whoosh? That's what I had. Fucking whish. Rare was zap and poke. Alright, let's just test it and see what breaks, and then I'll fix it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Swish, whoosh, whoosh. Swish. Give me a poke. Give me a poke. Give me a zap or a poke. Oh wait, did I even set a fucking percentage? I bet I didn't. Rare chance is 0%. Wow. Poke? There's a poke. Okay. 30% chance of a rare one. All of them can have 30% because it's not a gameplay element, it's just a fucking word change I've spent hours on. Right, what are we doing now? Damage pop-ups. We're still not doing healing yet. We'll get to that. We don't have crits yet. That's a game thing. We've not coded. Spawn, movement, duration, so-so. We've so-so done that. Sound, not yet, not yet. 5% showing a word instead of a number. Yep, we've done that. And we've done 2 weapons. Light and heavy attack. We've not coded any heavy attacks yet, but the foundation's there. Special attacks, not started that yet. Dodge and scramble. I kind of want to try and get the enemy doing something. Maybe I should end this video here since I think they're being quite long. I'll end this video here and just say pop-ups, fucking pop-ups and more pop-ups. And a little bit of melee combat, which again, it's not the best. Maybe it'll get revamped at some point. I'd like the enemy to start moving in the next video. So that's what you've got to look forward to, and I'll see you there.